Hi, everybody. My name is Belinda, and this is Belinda's Book Nook. It is Friday. Hopefully, this video is going to come out on Friday. Lately, I've been really bad with. Oh, sorry. Lately, I've been really bad with getting the video up after I record it. It's bad enough that it takes me a while to record it, but then it takes me sometimes to get it up. And I'm not even editing them and putting any music or anything, transitions. No, I'm just slapping it up there. So no excuse. But I just wanted to catch up with you. I have wanted to talk about, where I am with my reading so far this month. It feels like it's ticking by really fast. I don't know if it is for you, but I felt like it just was starting, and then I'm like, well, wait, we're getting through here. So yeah, so we're marching on in April. So here's what I wrote in here is my plan. I don't know why. I when I was setting up my book journal, I didn't know if I wanted to continue putting like books to read, like a TBR each month. But there's something about a creature of habit that even if I epically fail on many of my TBRs, I feel like I like the sense of the direction. I like to think that I am going in a certain direction when the reality is I am just like, the cat you see when you've got the little pointer light moving around and they're just all over the place. I am just distracted very easily. I'm very easily distracted. And I don't know if it was always this way, but that's how it has become. So here's what I plan to read. And then there were a couple invaders this month that are creeping on the TBR. I don't know how I do this, but it is happening. So my plan was, and these are written hard. I used to only write them in pencil if I thought, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to read it. But now I've decided I'm going to write it. I'm going to commit to it. And if I don't, I just don't. And I have like in here, I put check boxes next to, I don't know if you can see it, but I put check boxes next to the list of books. So if I do it, I put an X, and if I didn't, nothing. And sometimes, they get booted to the next month, and sometimes they just don't end up happening. I am definitely a mood reader. So without all of that, let's just move on now and talk about what I am reading and what I have read. So on the first thing on the list was The Quiet Librarian by Allen Eskens. And for the first time in I don't know how many years, I returned the library book. Actually, I think I returned it a day early. I've never returned books on time. I don't even know why they still let me have a library card because I commit that sin every single time. I knowingly take a book out like you're getting it when I'm getting finished with it, right? And I'm not threatened by it. So I know that's not a good quality. I remember with my kids when I was taking them to the library, it was like we got to get this back in 2 weeks or whatever the time frame was for their books. And I was just stressed the importance that somebody else wants to read this book, so we should be really diligent and read it, right? Mm-hmm. Do as I say, not as I do. So, The Quiet Librarian, I have already returned, so I can't even show you. If by chance I feel motivated and I don't think I'll have enough time, I'll put something over here of the cover of the book. I know I love when people do it, and I'm like, that's so nice. Now I realize it's a nice thing. It's not automatic. It's something you have to do, right? And it's not super hard. It's just that requires me to have to edit the video. It means I got to upload it and edit it, and you don't want to hear me grumping about that, so we'll keep going on. The Quiet Librarian, I absolutely love it. It was a 5-star read for me. It was from beginning to end. The story kept me totally engaged. I know nothing really about the Bosnian War, and this book has created a interest for me to find out more. It's sprinkled in there different historical facts and numbers that were alarming and unsettling. And so I really enjoyed the story that they laid forth, which was this librarian who was wanted in her home country, but had created a new persona for herself here in the United States, and it has been years. I think it's 20 or 30 years after the war. I don't know. It's a long time, and now I'm doubting how long. But she, something happens that pulls her back into that sphere and fear. The story just was great. It goes back and forth every other chapter between Bosnia and the United States, where she is now as a librarian. And it was really good. It was really good. I definitely enjoyed it. Never read Alan Eskins before. Like I said, the title caught me eye one night when I was looking through on Libby of books, and I'm glad that I did follow with that one. The next one that I read and completed already this month is Fireflies in Winter by Eleanor Shearer. And I told you that I read her debut novel, River Sing Me Home, and loved it. So I was like, yeah, I think she's going to be an auto-buy author for me, and I'm going to get her book. And somebody told me on the channel, I can't remember who, in a comment, I believe. Maybe it was a comment, or maybe I was watching a video. I never remember. I purposely was going to put a section in here to write down always who recommends things, but I think I have, but I just don't update it enough. But anyhow, they said she had another book coming out, and I was like, I'm on it. I pre-ordered it. I got it. I loved it. So let me say with this one, the first half of the book, I was starting to doubt myself. I'm like, is she my auto-buy author? This is, to me, the pacing felt really slow. Probably till about I think I was like 159, 150, 60. And I was like, this thing better pick up, because I don't know. It's switching back and forth between what's going on with the character and then a trial. And I'm like, how is this tied in? Will you bring me up to speed? Did I miss something? Do I need to go back and read again? Because I thought I might have missed something. I did not. I just, kept going with the story. And then it was like that night I remember complaining to my husband, saying, oh my God, I don't know. The story is being so slow. I'm just wondering where we're going. And from that point forward, the story just picked up, and it was much more engaging and interesting. And it definitely saved itself. The last half of the book saved it for me. Now, I'm saying that, but I also read this right after I read The Quiet Librarian, which was and literally ended on a big fast pace. So, do you ever think, if you read a book, does your last book affect your experience or your review or your thoughts of the next book? I know I've heard people say they've had a book hangover. And I don't know if I had a book hangover. I think I had an adrenaline rush that I went into this one kind of like wanting to kind of rev up already, and it was a slower pace for whatever reason that the author chose. But I also feel like if I had read this first, would I have felt that was slow? So if you do read this, let me know if you think the first part is slow. It definitely gets better, and it's really a good book. So I am glad I read it, and I will be with her for her next novel. I definitely enjoyed that one. So there's that one. I'm going fast because if I have enough time, I wanted to share some of the books that have been coming in that I have bought. So I thought I'd put that in here. The next one is Becoming Earth. Now this is a library book, and yeah, it's this bit, right? Yeah, this is a library book. And I'm already behind. I've only started in very slowly. I told you about this one. It talks about the earth as a living thing and how we interact with it. We as in humans and other animals and species and plants, and how we all work together. And it is a book that does talk about the climate. If you are somebody that is very sensitive and feel like you don't want to hear about that, maybe it's not the book for you. But if you are curious about how the inner workings work, it it seems to be pretty promising with that. I'm not too far into this because I was trying to get my book club book done in time for our meeting next week. And but I am going to resume and come back to this one, and I am enjoying this one. So that one is good. I won't talk about that much because I haven't finished that one. Then all of a sudden, like I told you, here comes somebody like just like I had put this book on hold because I had through NetGalley I had requested it as an advanced reader to review it, and I got denied. And I was like, okay, you know, I understand because I have had a history in the past of not reading the books and putting reviews up. So I get it. So, you know, and not everybody's going to say yes, and that's okay. So I was like, okay, well, once I got that rejection, I went on to Libby and I put it on hold. And I was like, I don't care how long it is. When it comes, it comes. I'll do it. It came up. I'm super happy. And the book is called Shut Up and Read, a memoir for Harriet's Bookshop. And it's by Janine A. Cook. I'm going to read that and then I'll show you the picture of the cover of it. So this wasn't planned, but because it came up and I was like, I know this one's going to take a while to come back again, I'm just going to read it. And I'm really glad I did because I picked it up one evening when I was going to bed and I just really, really fell right into it. I just loved hearing her story and how she came about opening multiple bookstores. So it's the author of It's Me, They Follow, chronicles the improbable true story of how she left an abusive past to build a bookshop that survived the COVID pandemic and become an international sensation. Janine Cook always thought she'd open a bookshop in her old age. Raised by a blind librarian, books were integral to her life, and she expected she would eventually write one as well. Instead, Janine found herself a burnt-out workaholic with 3 jobs and no time to read or write, feeling like she hadn't fulfilled her purpose. In her journal, she began an imaginary dialogue with Harriet Tubman. Q&As she dubbed Conversations with Harriet. Janine wondered how Harriet became a wade through the waist high water in the winter type of woman, and how she could become one too. On February 1st, 2020, Janine fulfilled her dream and opened a bookstore in Philadelphia, which she named after her hero and inspiration, Harriet Tubman. Harriet's Bookshop would be a place to celebrate women's authors, histories, and activists. While the name was ironic, Harriet could neither read nor write. It was also fitting the city of brotherly love was one of Harriet's first stops to freedom on the Underground Railroad. But in only 6 weeks, Janine would be forced to shut the doors when COVID turned the world upside down, not knowing whether her dream would survive, and it goes on. It's very inspirational, and it's very telling. She has these little sentences that she'll put, kind of. It's not a new chapter, but it's kind of like you're leaving a thought, and she's getting ready to talk about something else, and they're like little nuggets of wisdom with regards to being a bookshop owner. And I can see this in the bookshop, the independent bookstore that I frequent, that's very close to my home right now, that you have to be a jack of all trades. You can't just want to sell books. You've got to sell other things. You know, a lot of times they do, like she mentioned in this book, you have to sell candles, you have to sell bookmarks, cards, other items to get the foot traffic and keep the foot traffic in there. And you have to find ways to engage readers beyond just setting books on a shelf and hoping people will find them. You have to be a curator. You have to be somebody to know what's good, what's out there, what the audience might like, and how to connect with potential buyers, right? So it is a very difficult thing. And then she talked about things like, so far about, you know, owning your own building. When you don't own your own building, you're at the mercy of rent and rent increasing, you know, numbers and fluctuating. You're at the mercy of what's going on economically in the climate with the country. Inflation, all of these things affect that. And so you can have a love, and so many bookstores have died, even though the owners did love the idea of having a bookstore. It's a difficult job. And so it's very impressive to see her open multiple and to hear her story. Loving it, totally loving it, and don't mind that it jumped onto my TBR because I'm here for it. The cover, I said I was going to show you the cover, is a picture of her. I don't know if you can see it. I'm hoping you can see it. I love the cover of this book too. And so I'm really excited about this. And I've also already found a couple other books that she's mentioned in there. I'm like, oh, I love that, to get books from books, right? So there's that. Then I have another one that came on my TBR that was not planned, but I had forgot. I put it on hold a little while back, and you know, the reason why I saw him on I saw the author here. Here it is. I saw the author on TV being interviewed, and then I was like, oh, I want to read it. I feel like it's timely. I need to read it, and it made me think of John Lewis's book, the last one that he wrote. I can't remember the name of it, but it is on this channel. I did review it, and it was fabulous, because he wrote all of these different, like, tidbits of advice. So it was like he knew he was passing soon, and he just left us with all of this wisdom, you know, and I loved it. And I feel like this one is in a similar vein. It's not that this person is passing away soon from an illness, but he's providing hope, and it sounds like a blueprint of how to move forward in a divided world we are in. And that's Stand by Cory Booker. So this is this has just come out this month, but I had put it on hold as soon as I had heard about it, and so it came up, and it's not a lot. It also reminds me of that one from John Lewis. It's not even like, I should be able to read this in a couple sittings. It could be done one if I sat, you know, with a cup of tea. Sometimes I get tired. But this one is an urgent call to rekindle our shared American ideals. We're living through a time of crisis. The problems we face grow more serious, while our divisions continue to widen. But our history overflows with people who use the power of our foundational virtues to overcome impossible obstacles. In Stand, Senator Cory Booker offers a hopeful and practical path forward, weaving together powerful stories and stirring personal reflections to remind us that our country's shared ideals can serve as a North Star to guide us, even when our journey feels especially dark and perilous. He argues that our principles are not luxuries, they are vital, strategic key to our survival and success. But by wielding these tools, we can reclaim our sense of common cause and change the course of our country's history. And it goes on. And I just think it's going to be a very interesting read. So I'm excited. And I got this one to hold hostage from the library. And then the last book for this month, as if that isn't enough, is my book club book for Read Soul Lit with Dee Dee, and it's Not Without Laughter by Langston Hughes. And I told you when I got this one, I just love this. Look at it. Just look, please, because it's so cool. I love it. Do you see him in there? Do you see the trumpet? Okay. I love it. So anyhow, I am about here, so I'm about page 88 in this, and I'm very much enjoying it. I am curious to see, you know, I don't know, does this have, sometimes in these books they'll have at the end, they'll have discussion questions. I'm trying to figure out what are the things that I'm going to pull to, you know, that I want to talk about with the group too. And sometimes Dee Dee wants us to give her favorite passage, or, you know, what things stood out for us and things like that. So far I'm finding the story very interesting, and his writing is great. It's very appropriate to the time. You know, it was this was first published in 1930, so it was a very different time then. And so I am very interested to see. So I have to hop, scump, and a jump and get it done for next Sunday is, I think, our book club meeting. So I will definitely finish it, because it is definitely reading very easily. So those are the books that I'm reading right now for this month. I was gonna get to the horror book, but now that I've got the Cory Booker on there and the Shut Up and Read, I don't think I'll have time to get to that one, so that may get bumped to May. I'm also going to do the military May, so there is that. But anyhow, so, oh yeah, I had that one too. Let me just show you I don't know how much time I've gone talking. You know what? I'm going to do it in a different video. But this is good because I haven't put in the title. I haven't put the title up yet for this, so nobody will know I was thinking about doing the books that I've ordered, because I actually think I have one more coming, and then I will do it. And then I think I'm also going to do a giveaway. I have a book that I bought too. I know I've never done that before, but I do want to do a giveaway. I got to figure out how we're going to do that. So I think what I'll do is, in a separate video, I will talk about the books that I've just recently bought and that or that have come in the last month or two. And then I will do a book giveaway. I'll do it separate because I don't want to take all your time today, because I've got already a couple, several. And I feel like once I start reading the descriptions of books, it drives you crazy, right? I know. But what else is new? I am working in my garden. I've started to weed. I have not done anything yet in my vegetable garden. I will be getting that sorted out in the next 2 weeks, so that I can prep the soil and get the seeds ready for that and the planting. I think I have enough seeds from last year that I could probably use those again for this year for some of the vegetables. I have to look. I have to do, that's another thing that I'm going to need to do. But right now what I've been doing is working around my garden, like section at a time, just going through and pulling out weeds, because they just, the funny thing is, like, they come up right now. You can see a sea of weeds, and the poor plants haven't, some of them are starting to surface, but they haven't even all surfaced yet. So I'm going to do that, but I should show you video of me doing it. I look like a crazy lady because I ordered on Amazon this mask that's supposed to be for people that work with wood, or it also could be somebody that's cutting their lawn and you don't want the glass and all that stuff to go into your, to breathe it in. But I'm trying to use it for pollen and everything else, because this is the problem when you get allergies. This time of year is high pollen. All of the trees are getting ready to bloom, and you've got all of this stuff floating around, but you also need to get out there to get started, to start preparing for the season. So this is my solution. So I'm only wearing it in my yard, in the backyard. So only the people that can see me there see how crazy I look. But my son's cracking up when he saw the mask. But it covers all of my face practically. And then I have a baseball cap on because I'm trying not to get too much sun on me. But I am just like, that's my thing. I've just been working on that, trying to get that sorted, because I usually tend to ignore the weeds, and then as the season gets going I start to address them. But I'm trying to kind of get ahead of it this year. So that's where I am with that. We have not put our patio, well, we put some of our patio furniture out, but we haven't put our deck in order. Once I get that, I'll start doing that. And today you guys are all being this is being recorded on a new stand for my camera, because the old one was so rickety, it broke, and I was using hair ties to keep the phone in place. I'm happy to say this is a new setup. I hope it works better. It seems like I can get good angles. I just kind of stack it on stuff, so it's working so far. So this is good. I'm still updating my book journal. Got a little behind, and trying to keep that going. And I am going to a craft retreat with my friends this weekend, and I'm looking forward to that. So I can pack up stuff for that, some projects that I'm working on. And other than that, I am doing okay. I started going back to the gym again because I need to go to the gym. I had taken a break. I didn't realize how long it was. And so my husband and I go together, and yeah, I'm complaining now each night, like, I'm so sore, my arms, my chest. And then I'm like, you wouldn't be so sore if you were doing it regularly. So we're back on track. But I will talk to you guys later, because I can babble all day, and I just want to catch up with you. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know if you read any of the books that I'm reading. Let me know if you ever are like, do you feel like sometimes the book that you read before really impacts your thoughts about the next one? I mean, because I always think, I know that they're all different stories, right? I know that. Sometimes I think that really is what happens to me. I think that that first book I read was such an adrenaline rush, and it was so engaging, and I was so curious about what's going on, that all of a sudden I got to this kind of meandering along story, and I'm like, what are we doing? So but it did redeem itself. It did. And so she stays on the auto buy list. But I want to hear what you guys are reading. What your plans are for the weekend? Are you starting your garden? Are you gardening? Let me know all of those things, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.